you got a choice between protests in Hong Kong, Chinese persecuting Christians, and asking Christians to stay quiet about persecution, and the crackdown on religion in China is the worst in 40 years. Are we reliving history? What is going on?
The Christians have been persecuted in China for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember about the bad blood scandal?
Tell us.
They infected a bunch of the Chinese Christians with AIDS using blood and shit. That was a while ago. I'll look it up right now.
Okay, you know.
Chinese Christians. This was back like 20, 30 years ago. But it's been going on for a while. They don't want religion in mainland China because that goes against the government. You know about Falun Gong too, right?
Mm-hmm.
That it was like a health and wellness practice. It was like Tai Chi or something like that. And it was becoming massively adopted. It was very peaceful. It was just people getting exercise. At first, the government supported it. But then they saw how much it was growing and challenging their authority, or they feared it would challenge their authority, so they shut it down. And they've been harvesting the organs of Falun Gong practitioners for a while now. And the article link that I sent you before about the people in Sydney, Australia at the university, those were basically Hong Kong students, international students that were based in Sydney, Australia.
Mm-hmm.
They set up a mural denouncing what the government's doing because they don't support that. They want Hong Kong to remain independent, a part of China independent. Well, some of them want it to be they want what Taiwan has now at this point. It's getting bad. But the point of the matter is they set up a protest. They put up some nice, they set up a mural, a wall. And what happened was the next day, a bunch of Chinese agents that work for the government in China approached the students at the Australian university, intimidated them, and tore down their mural. Now, that's basically a foreign government sending in their government agents to harass people in a foreign country, be it Australia. That's a big thing.
Well, Australia doesn't. Australia penal colony is penal colony 1 is Canada, penal colony 2 is America, penal 3 is UK, penal 4 is Australia, and penal colony 5 is New Zealand. Penal colony 4, which is what was at one point Australia. Australia doesn't even exist anymore right now.
But the point is, that would be like, say, the Chinese government was invading Portugal, your home country, your fatherland, and you were protesting it at Vancouver University. Mm-hmm. Because you're Portuguese, and then all of a sudden the Chinese government shows up here in Canada and then intimidates you en masse.
Right, I get what you're saying, but Australia, I mean, they're letting so much happen in their own backyard.
And I know.
Yeah.
I just think, well, this actually has happened in other countries. This happened in the U.S. There was a Falun Gong protest in New York a couple of months back, and the Chinese government showed up there. So the Chinese government has no problem sending foreign agents to other countries to stage protests or and get violent. Almost like Antifa, except they're paid. Mm-hmm. Or, it's not really real activism. It's more like agents or, I don't know. I think that's a big thing. It's pretty brazen of them to pull that kind of stuff in our countries. They're basically sending it. They're sending in their secret police into our countries to harass our people.
Of course they are. That's what they got to do. I mean, that's what they want to strong arm and show their reach. They want to show how much reach they got.
That would be like me as a Canadian, multi-generation Canadian Anglo-Saxon, setting up a protest on China because they're kidnapping our citizens over the Hawaii executive. Mm-hmm. I do a protest in Vancouver, and all of a sudden a bunch of Chinese agents, secret police, show up in Vancouver and start harassing me. Can you imagine? Yeah. Other countries' governments are strong-arming our citizens. It's a slippery slope, and we're letting it go on with the international students. What happens before it's us being targeted? Like, where do we draw the line and be like, if you're a foreign spy, you're supposed to register in another country too, right? It's breaking law.
Mm-hmm. But a lot of people are sleeper agents, and a lot of people are in as tourists too, right?
Yeah, I know. I just find it really surprising and open brazen. Mm-hmm. So there's that, and as far as the Christians being persecuted, that's been going on for ages. They suppressed Buddhism. You know about the Cultural Revolution. They tore down their own temples and all their culture. There's a reason if you go to Taiwan, there's more Chinese culture in Taiwan than there is in mainland China. Mainland China's become some soulless creature. Communism killed everything.
I went to Taiwan. I've been to Taiwan twice, and
It feels more ethnic Chinese than the mainland, for Christ's sake. That's why.
yeah, I like Taiwan a lot. The people there are very welcoming, very kind. I was surprised. Like it's not like I went there thinking it was going to be. No, I just was very surprised how very welcoming everybody is in Taiwan.
Yeah, mainland China keeps threatening Taiwan that they're going to invade them, and they've
Well,
been doing.
I think they will not invade, but I think it will start pushing in policies and stuff and starting to kind of do.
Taiwan's independent. It was set up by the Kuomintang. That's not going to happen.
No, I understand what you're saying, but I think what they're going to do is just going to try and get somebody illegally elected into Taiwan that's pro-Chinese, and then just say, "Hey, come, why don't you come here?"
They can try, but I doubt it'll ever happen. And another thing is the military option that China has is that window is slowly moving away, because Taiwan's developing advanced cruiser missiles now. So even if they ever did invade one, they could if they build up enough cruiser missiles, they could level all of the eastern seaboard of China's mainland cities and put them to ash. You don't need nuclear weapons to drop we have very powerful weapons that are non-nuclear now, right? So if they start building those under cruise missiles, then the Chinese would. I view Taiwan as an independent country. I don't know why.
I've been to Taiwan. I've been there twice, and I view it as an independent country. They stamp my passport just like an independent country will. They have their own currency.
I actually view Taiwan as the actual they're the legitimate Chinese government. The communist one's the non-legitimate one, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. They're a banana republic. They're not even communist anymore. They're more like, who is Xi Jinping? He's the CEO of people.
He's the CEO of people, and he announced himself Emperor of China.
Yeah, I know. Like they don't even care about their citizens anymore. They're more like maintaining the status quo of corrupt elites. Mm-hmm. You ever think about all the rich Chinese that come here to Canada? They buy up places in Markham, Richmond. Mm-hmm. You realize that's not coming from the main Chinese people. Most of these fucking rich people, they're all the government officials' kids creeping their way into our countries. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You ask any of the rich people. You go to Markham, you see people driving these high-end vehicles and luxury cars and shit. You ever ask yourself where do they got the money? It's all freaking communist government money.
It is. It's
all these young kids driving, going to the university, overcrowding our schooling system, buying up all the real estate. These aren't normal, good, hardworking working capitalists from Asia. What they are, if you ask any of them, they all have ties to the CPP. It's their children. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying.
And a lot of them, I understand. It's an opinion. A lot of them.
But people don't put two and two together. They never really make the freaking gap to think. Ever take the time to think one day, who are all these rich people coming to Canada? They're all the communists' offspring. It's the second generation Chinese rich. They have a word for it in Mandarin. And we give these people hospitality, which is retarded, because we're supposed to be against everything that these people stand for. This dictatorship, this authoritarian government. We're supposed to be the West, the defenders of democracy. And we're letting their rich buy up and enslave our own people and are leaving our people in squalor. Everything's backwards.
Well, the problem is this. Canada's competing for rich Chinese workers. Here's the article. I bring this up once a month. Canada wants more Chinese workers, students and tourists. Immigration minister says they are competing, and you go down the article. I've read this a few times for you guys because this is a big eye-opener. Visas have been increasing from China to 500,000 per year, but opening more offices could help Canada compete for Chinese workers and lucrative tourist business. So, hello. We are opening our doors and we are competing. It's not just Canada. Western United States is competing because their housing market in the Western United States is completely out of proportion. And the American proper has to move east to other states like Texas and Arizona to afford anything. You got all Canada's major cities, 2 major cities are completely bought out. and the Canadian proper doesn't have much of a choice when it comes to choice for other cities. Then you got UK is under this same umbrella, and so is Australia and New Zealand. Everyone's competing for the rich investors. That's what they want. That's what's going to make Canada more lucrative, is by bringing in more people. But what happens to the people in the country?
Yeah, I know, it's disgusting. We don't care about our own people. All the elites, all they do is care about themselves and pumping their own money bags. But a side point, PK 3500L said something. He said, why is China building dozens of icebreaker ships? Well, I can tell you why. Because China thinks that they're going to be bullying us next about our northern Arctic opening. Oh, yeah. So they're going to kidnap our citizens, bully us and shit, and then they think, oh, we're just going, you know. And it's funny, America's not even backing us up. They're trying to say, right now, America's trying to say, oh, the northern ice passageway, that's because the snow is melting, it's very loud, a lot of resources, a lot of oil, gas, all that. America's saying, oh, that's an international passage. It belongs to the world. Bullshit. It's fucking right on our freaking... If there's an oil tanker that blows up or whatever, or has an accident, or a cruise ship has an accident, who do you think they're going to be calling to bail them out and clean up the mess or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Us, because it's right on our international waters, but no one's respecting it. But China's right now building a bunch of icebreakers to get some of those Canadian resources as if they belong to them. We should be... I personally think our government, if we had a proper government, we should be setting up some anti-naval missiles. So if they want to come to our territory, be like, dude, we can blow you up. Get out of our territory. You can't just invade our airspace, or you can't just invade our international or not our territorial waters. Everyone's just walking over us right now since Trudeau seized power. It's sad and it's angry.
So what do you see happening in Hong Kong in the next week or two?
I don't know what I do know is that Hong Kong is not going to pull through. I don't think Hong Kong is going to pull through at all. What I think, and I can't put a time frame on, but what I think is going to happen is the PLA military is going to probably invade them. They're going to end up getting invaded because the mainland's not going to put up with, it's making them look bad and it's starting to piss them off. The powers that be at Beijing, to them, this is like, who do you people think you are? You think you can talk shit about us? We can freaking invade you. And what country is going to come to your aid? You are belonging to our territory. We can just rip apart that two-party, one-country system. It's the sad truth. And there's nothing the Hong Kong people can do, sadly. Mm-hmm. Unless we decide to come to their aid, but then we're talking about a war. They think Taiwan belongs to them. Like, these people are, there's not, you know, the Chinese government is so out of whack. They don't even realize that all the countries surrounding them right now hate them. They don't know that they have one country that likes them, Cambodia. Vietnam is trying to stab them in the back and take all their manufacturing right now. Mm-hmm. Philippines hates them. Malaysia hates them. Mm-hmm. Japan obviously doesn't like them. Korea doesn't get along with them.
Not even the Philippines.
India doesn't get along with them. They don't got no friends. But if you look on a map, they're pretty boxed in there. If all these countries gang up on them, they're going to end up like the USSR. They're going to get collapsed. Oh, you're not allowed to move your goods through India. You're not allowed to move it by trail. Oh, you're not allowed to stay out of our international waters. We're blockading you. You're not allowed to move your shipping. Cut off from the rest of the world. And Japan right now with the TPP, what I think they're doing with that is they're trying to become that leader. Right now, the Chinese Prime Minister, President Abe, right now he's trying to become that. He's trying to fill in that gap when the TPP, Trump tore it up. They came in and they want to replace that. But what is probably like, he wants to be the TPP leader, not because it's just economy. He wants to fuck with China. Japan and China, they don't like each other. And Abe is part of he's on the right side, right wing politically. He wants to remilitarize Japan. It's the world's largest economy. They remilitarize. That's a big thing. Mm-hmm. Their military would dwarf Russia's. Like Russia's like, if they're like, Russia's like, we're not giving you back your islands. Okay, well, we're just gonna seize them. We have a bigger army than you, and we're more scary. That's what and then you got the Koreans, the Japanese. They don't get it wrong. They have some bad blood there too. But, you know, when you got a common enemy, it's easy to get all these pieces in the puzzle. What I think is going to happen, maybe 20 years from now, where it's going to eventually, there's going to be something built, is probably an Asian Pacific NATO. they're going to box China in because, and America's going to back it, obviously, because they would benefit from this, that they're world power. World power, empires don't want to fall. They want to remain top dog, right?
Yeah.
So what I would be concerned about also is you got North Koreans. The North Koreans, they're trying to sell their nuclear technology to Iran and other groups. That's another problem we have.
But I think North Korea is still a whiles away to actually get something off the ground. They've tried, they've tested. I think they lack a bit still. I think they're gonna get there, but I think they severely lack. So does Iran.
But they still have a lot of nuclear. Or, I mean, not nuclear. They still have a lot of submarines. They have I think they have the world's most submarines in North Korea.
I have a friend that was working as one of those guys in Iran. You remember they're sending over those people to check out the nuclear people to go check out their facilities and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had a friend that went out that was on one of those teams, and he told me that Iran is 50 years away from getting anything.
I don't know.
So
I don't want to. I don't really want to see the. I would rather see the planet denuclearized more countries start independently getting nukes, because then we have a higher chance that some radical regime and shit decides to fire one off one day.
Oh, after the nuke, we're gonna have something right after the nuke. Is something gonna come after the nuke? Everyone says the nuke is the end of all ends. There's something else. I think there's something that's gonna be more devastating than a nuclear missile. It'll come out in the next 5 to 10 years. That's what the military industrial complex is always working on, to always make things more sophisticated and better for the military, right?
But as far as China being a world power, it's going to replace the U.S. I don't think that's going to happen, because I think what's going to happen to China is it's made too many enemies quickly, rub too many people of its neighbors the wrong way. What's going to end up happening is it's going to get snuffed out. I don't know, but it's still a problem in the meantime, because they keep trying to softcore bribe our politicians and our oligarchs.
Yeah.
The Chinese, they have a whole map book on how they fight war, and they can do it economically soft style, right? And they even write this in their manuals. Subverting other people's economy. Like, they've taken over Australia's power group.
Especially with them flooding markets with fentanyl and opioids and stuff, and getting the local Americans and Canadians and Australians and New Zealanders addicted to the opioids, and then recycling that money back into real estate.
Yeah, they're literally killing our people. They're killing us with actual drugs. They're putting us into poverty, buying up our cities, and they're killing us with cheap chemical sprayed products. Yeah, they're a great trading partner, aren't they?
Yeah. Anyways, Leaf, I'm gonna let you go, and keep working on that. Keep working on getting us on. Hopefully, getting us on the one of those big channels there.
I messaged him, so I have to see what email is back, if they email. Okay. And hopefully. I think the Asian capitalist. He said he was going to get back to me around September. He's traveling on vacation.
All right, let's get some more guests on the show so we could promote other channels and other channels could promote us.